Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about AI powered shorts editing. We're going beyond the basic cuts of editing. We're going to be using Opus Clip to talk about not only how you can edit YouTube shorts, but a lot of different content types with Opus Clip. One thing I hear a lot is, I really like Opus Clip for shorts, but I want to make sure that we don't get it twisted. Opus Clip is so much more than just shorts, it can do so much. I really just want to take that focus. I wanted to say shout outs to those waiting. Shout outs to Catherine. I see you, Kathy Fit, aka Catherine. Happy to have you here with us today. So we are going to go and dive right into Opus Clip. I am so excited for this because one thing I want to make sure that we cover is just the ultimate functionality that you get with Opus. I see we have some people, I believe, from Nick's stream. Shout outs to Nick Nimmin, friend of Opus Clip, myself, and a true creator's creator, if you will. So I'm gonna not waste any time. Let's get ahead and share a screen. I want to mention, if you're unaware, we will have some links in the description for you that you can, if you've never tried Opus Clip, you can give it a shot. We also have a link to their Opus Clip Discord community where you can learn with the community and grow. So I wanted to make sure I call those two things out. But now let's go ahead, share our screen, see what we can get started here. Really excited actually for this one today. Because one thing I've noticed when it comes to these streams, when it comes to this, is that we get a lot of new people in. And so if you've never seen Opus Clip before, first off, welcome. Want to go ahead and start at the very beginning, how you can get using it. So let's go ahead, make our way to the Opus Clip YouTube channel. Going to share my screen, and we're going to not waste any time. All right, sharing screen. Going to share the window. Let's go. And there we are. Now I'm going to do picture in picture because I just feel it'll give people who may not have been there the whole picture, for lack of a better word. So here I am. We are on the Opus Clip YouTube channel. You are watching AI Powered Shorts, so thank you all if you're watching this live in the replay. We are going to go ahead and grab our latest video, click share. You can also click in, but I do it this way. And we are just going to drag and drop this, get free clips in Opus Clip. It is that simple. And then what we're going to do is we are going to let it have its moment to run. And it's pretty quick, as you'll notice. And from here, one thing I want to mention is credit usage. This is something that we get asked a lot. People ask, how many credits do things take? It is 1 credit per minute of video processing. So if you're using a live stream, that is a good way to know. So let me just, quickly explain it. Opus Clip credits are exactly as they are. So Opus Clip credits, 1 credit equals about a minute of video processing, right? So if you're wondering how many credits does it take to do this video, how long is your video? Keep in mind at the time of this piece of content that there's only up to 120 minutes that Opus can render. They're going to always be improving, a reason to subscribe to the channel and come back and check out. But that gives you a really good starting point. Now, each version has different amounts of credits it gives you. I really implore you to go ahead and check that out. But for about this live stream that's 22 minutes, that's about 22 credits. And with that, we can do quite a lot. So just want to explain, Opus Clip credits equals 1 credit equals about a minute of video processing, at least at the time of this. So now that we understand that, we can go into AI clipping. Now, here's something I want to make sure we use. If you have the paid versions, which will have a free trial where you can try out, you should definitely be using Clip Anything, their smartest model, or you can use Clip Basic. It's not bad, but I like Clip Anything. It's what they put a lot of time and effort into. It's what I'd recommend. Now, for clip length, we can go and choose, right? So we're handling YouTube Shorts, so I usually pick these, but you can also do 10 to 15 minutes, right? And maybe that's something we want to consider as we're doing. So now we have all these different clip lengths. We're really going. Great to see you, Artist Haven, aka Tish. And so I want to make sure that we're keeping this, very structured. So this is definitely more, I would say this one was more informative and educational. And as we're doing, we're talking about speed. We're talking about how to speed this up. Let's click on this cogwheel and I'll zoom in for you so you guys can see even bigger. Choose your narrative templates, right? This one isn't super emotional. So generate clips that highlight a key moment showcasing high emotion, such as happiness. I don't think that makes sense for this. Top moment, generate clips that have the best scene from your video. That makes sense. Viral snippet, generate clips that highlight the snippet most likely to go viral. Very helpful. Generate clips that compile the best scenes from your video. For that longer one, that might make sense here. So we'll save these options. And we have prompts. Now, if you've never used prompts, I always say you can click learn here. learn more, it'll bring you there. There's also, and I'll make sure to put this in the chat, it's Opus's own, prompt manual, which is super helpful. And I highly recommend using it. So I'll put that in the chat there for you. And it is one of those things, that can really help you do a little bit better when it comes to these things, right? Because one thing I will say is that when it comes to understanding prompts, prompt manualing is so important. So I'm going to open that in a new tab for us. So we have the prompt manual. Should be able to see that now. So we can find the moments likely to go viral. Show me moments with strong opinions or words. Give me, these are more specific. But I think for me, what I want to do is we can say compile. We could do moments that are, I kind of want to see if I had any strong opinions. I think I did in this one. So this one might, be a good prompt for this. Now, one thing to note is your presets down here. They do have the quick presets. So if you're looking to, choose a style, you can also select your aspect ratio. So let's say maybe you want to do this with a 16:9 video instead of 9:16, or Instagram square 1:1 or 4:5. That's where you can make that decision there. Now the templates, if you've made them, they have different templates. So they have the 16:9 and the 9:16, but we're not going to worry too much about that, because what I will tell you is you can always edit your templates. If we click the edit here, it'll bring up, the brand new template design, and it'll explain all this. Done this before, so for me, doesn't make super sense. But in clip layout, you can click this. You can choose how you want it to fill. So this is for my Opus clip brand template you see up here. And then it has the caption, how I want them. It just lets you quickly have everything you could need. You can automatically have it remove filler words and pauses, which might make sense. Sometimes I don't have that selected because I do like the ability to check that instead of having it full automated. Hello, Doug, aka, so if you don't know, this is breaking news. Doug Houston was recently goated. He's going to be goated again. Doug Houston is an incredible creator, and if you are wanting to learn about YouTube, highly recommend checking him out. Shout out to Doug Houston. But here's the thing. Going back to this, if you're wanting to practice that of what Doug recommends, there's a lot of things here that could be very helpful to you, especially as you are trying to hone true in what is being said here. And one thing I like is you get a preview here, right? So you can see how your changes take effect. But for this, we're going to use the Opus clip. We have already customized everything we're doing. If you have an SRT file, so this is also important. If, for example, you have recorded a video, I say this as if you script your videos, and even if you don't, maybe you have another service, you could upload those here too. That's something you could do. Or what I do is I get Opus clip to do it for me. But here you can see we are using the clip anything model. Now, hypothetically, if we didn't want captions, or we didn't want clipping, we only wanted captions, you can just click don't clip up here in this tab. But now we have everything. We're going to get our clips in one click. And as that is loading, I wanted to take this moment to say, if you guys have any questions for the live stream, this is where you can ask them. Even if we don't answer them live, we always take them and we answer them on the community tab. We're really active here on the channel. It's something that Greg Priest, who runs the channel, myself, Connor from the Opus Clip team, a lot of the folks you see, Nick Nimmin, etc., we're all really passionate about this. So I really wanted to take that moment to say, if you have any questions, please let us know. And speaking of which, we have a question. Can you use multiple channel content on one Opus Clip account? Yes, you can. So I actively am using, and that's a great question. And let's go back and share. So this is my personal Opus Clip account. You can see this here. I know that I'm using videos that are on the Opus Clip channel, but I've also used my own personal videos here before. So there is a really good combination. Like, this is actually an example of my membership calls that I use. So this is a membership meeting that I actually used Opus Clip to get the closed caption file for. So to answer your question, and I think this is a really good question, and this comes from the Artist Haven. Can I have multiple, let me read it. Can you use multiple channel accounts on one Opus Clip account? Yes, you absolutely can. The only limitation of using multiple channel accounts on one Opus Clip account is 1, you must own the content, and 2, how many credits do you have on your account? If those two things are able to be done, so you own the content and you have the credits, you can do it. It's that simple. Hopefully that answers your question there, Tish. I think it does, but just want to let me know. And that is actually a great opportunity. If you would like, I would love to do this. If you guys would like, let me know. Is there a video on your YouTube channel you would like me to run through Opus Clip, and we can do it kind of together? I think that could be a very fun. That could be a very, very fun opportunity for us. Gonna take some hydration nation. And yes, the cup matches the shirt, matches the brand, Opus Clip. Tish says that I'm researching starting a second channel, so this is very helpful. No, absolutely. I love using Opus Clip because one, it has helped me speed up and it has made my overall working flow so much bit faster. But two, it's also useful if you are, you know, curious about AI editing or you've never given it a shot. Like one thing I like is I'm going to go ahead and show this one I've done with Roberto. You know, this is a great example of how Opus can help you not only. So there's a couple of views. So if you're looking for quick, score-based things, this is a really good one. If you're looking for trending topics, Opus shows you what's trending and as of the date. So I really like it for like a quick overview of, hey, I have this really good interview with Roberto here on the channel. Let's talk about, let's see what we can pull from this, right? So I ran it through that process we just showed. Then we have this video, right? And it's trending, and it tells me because YouTube Shorts RPM versus long form, TikTok ban impact on content creators. For every, and this comes from Roberto. And this is a really good piece from Roberto Blake, and you might see this very soon here on the channel. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But let's say I actually think this would make more sense, not as 9:16, but by 16:9. I can click the 16:9 button. It is going to repurpose this. It's going to update the aspect ratio in real time. And granted, you could do this yourself, but it does take time. So while that's going, I can edit another piece. Opus is doing that in the background for me. It's taking a 9:16, making it 16:9, or the other way. I could have a 16:9 piece and it's making it 9:16. So it can make sense of the score, hook, flow just by scanning the video. Absolutely. Let's break that down. So here's something that I find really fun. Hook. The hook presents a compelling comparison. Consider adding a question to further engage the audience. Flow. The transcript logically explains the benefit of short form content. Perhaps a visual aid would further clarify the points. Value. The content offers valuable insights into content creation. And keep in mind, while I was talking about all that stuff, this video is now 16:9, and that was done live quick. So that is one of the things I love about it, because you know what? Actually, I wanted 9:16 again. Let's put it back. It's going to do it. So now, as that is updating the aspect ratio, the trend, this clip discusses the potential of YouTube Shorts to provide higher reach and revenue compared to long-form content, especially considering the possibility ban of TikTok in the US, which could drive advertisers to YouTube. So yes, it does do that. The trending analysis it gives you as of September 13th, which is today, it is still super relevant. And because I re-rendered that clip, and look, we are back to usable 9:16. Like, I can't stress how quick and easy that was. As I was explaining things, it did it for me. And that's why, we talked about at the title of this stream, AI-powered shorts editing. It is beyond basic clips and cuts. That's what we're talking about here. I see from Tish, all my content right now are live streams that are 2 hours. But if there is a VOD on my channel that would work, feel free. I think I have a couple that are shorter. If yours are too long, that is just a limitation of the tool. But also keep in mind that when we are doing these, that the longer the video or stream, sometimes the harder it is for the tool to process. Not that it's hard, just it takes time, right? So a great example of this is my stream was 22 minutes. We only got about 3 minutes left on the processing. Actually, I think as I said that, it tells you what it's doing in the background. You can clip on it. You can see what it's doing. But that is something that if you have a specific shorter one, I could look up, Tish. That's a little bit easier. So it can sense, yep, just from the video. You already know how long it takes me to edit anything, like 3 years to edit. So yeah, no, this could really help you. And one thing I also want to show to like help up is, upload your video and start, your video to the editor, upload your video and start editing for free. There's your enhanced speech. So if you're not really sure, it can help you enhance your speech in a couple words. Auto reframe, it lets it automatically reframe your stuff if you're struggling there. You can use stock or AI generated B-roll. There are AI hooks. So if you haven't had time to film or you want to experiment with AI voices, that's a choice. There's also long to short. So you can drop a link. We can try this with the Artist Havens channel. But I will note that if the content, if I can't find anything, it might be a little bit too long. I do also want to note that Tish, I do need to ask this before I do anything. Do I have your permission to do this? I believe the answer is yes, but I want to make sure that I have that. And once I have that clarity, we can. So this is the video she says I could do. That would work. Just need the permission. Always ask for permission. But I found the video. You wholeheartedly have my permission. You see it live. Let's bring that in. We're going to share, copy. We are going to pull this into Opus Clip, long to shorts. We're going to tell it to do its thing. It's going to start doing the thing. And here, again, the question was, and I'm going to go full screen. Can you use other people's content within Opus Clip, or can it only be used to one channel? You absolutely can. But if you do, as Opus says, using video you don't own may violate copyright laws. By continuing, you confirm this is your own original content. Thanks to the Artist Haven, aka Tish, I have permission. We're going to do this, right? So I don't actually know what kind of content this is. So I'm going to let the AI detect. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go to our prompt manual. I want to find the moments that are most likely to go viral on social media. I think that'd be helpful for this one. We're going to hit paste. Now, I think I'm going to use my own personal template, but if I wanted to use a preset, I could maybe do something like Popline or any of these. So if you've not used it yet, you have a lot of options actually to get you started. I'm going to use mine. And I'm going to choose 30 seconds. These, I'm going to choose all those. Get clips in one click. And now, as my other video is done, it'll give you an idea how long it takes. This is with this. And, Tish, if you want to experiment, you should definitely try the free trial that we will have. It is pretty easy to do. But we're going to click on the video we just rendered. Let's go from a grid view. So Gemini AI integration, YouTube Shorts daily views. We talk about that. We talk about a couple of different things. We talk about, we were editing the Roberto video in this one. So it's talking about it. It gives us the score. So I want to go in list view and see what it's saying. And you can also, the trend, this clip highlights the use of AI tools like Opus Clip. It's a little not as good as some of the others, so makes sense. Early access here. This one might make sense for us since we were promoting the new tool called Agent Opus. So this would make sense. So what you'll notice I'm doing is you can filter if you're joining us, right? So you can go by liked, right? And it'll show you your like stuff. If I want certain lengths, right, less than 30 seconds, it'll show me all the videos that are less than 30 seconds. If I'm looking for 30 to 60, it'll show me all the videos with these filters that are that. If I want to see 90 to 180, it shows me this one, right? And so we now can filter, we can look through. I actively think this one I've hearted would make sense. I think this compilation one, despite that B, does make sense. This is talking about how the YouTube Shorts are going. And again, it's up to you as you're doing this to watch and review these, what makes sense. I do think this one about prompting is super useful for the Opus audience. So what I could do is I'll click edit this clip, and it gives us a chance to show off a screen share. And so as we go in, one thing I will do is AI enhance, and I want to see if there's any filler words, and it removed one filler word. Notice how quick that was. Pauses, one pause, one silence frame removed, and you can see it edited it down here. I will go ahead and remove myself so you can see what I'm about to talk about. So when I show you those edits, right? Undo, undo. Notice how this gets affected. So if I remove filler words, this was removed here. If I remove pauses, remove, you can see how that was edited down there. And you get an idea, in a sense, I'll go over here so you can see. You get an idea and sense of how it's making those edits. And that's how quick it is. Now, my speech is pretty good, but let's say I want to enhance it. Improve vocal clarity. Let's go ahead and do it. Notice how quick that is. This is real time, folks. I love how quick all this is going. Now, for me, I use, we have the screen share. One thing I will tell you is if you want to make change of all of these clips, we can crop these 5 scenes. We can change the layout. I actually think I'm going to do screen share over gaming. I think that makes a little more sense for what we're trying to do. I'm going to make the prompts here a little bit bigger. So now I've edited this so the prompts are a little bigger, and I can make myself a little bigger. I actually do not like that there is that little bit up there. I could tighten the cropping, and all I do to do that is I click the crop tool. I could do that up here too. Make sure all of these are selected because you want to make sure you're cropping all of them equally. But I actually think for me, what I want to focus on in this section is just this part. Apply it to all selected scenes. But now, because I've done that, I do need to readjust it across the scenes. But if I wanted to, I could switch the location of these two things. So I could maybe move this down here if I wanted, and I could move the other one up top if I wanted. So now I was easily able to, across these scenes as we play out, have myself talking up top and then the stuff at the bottom. And look how easy that was. I now have something that has enhanced my audio. I don't think this one needs the B-roll, but I'm saving these changes. And what it's going to do for me is it's going to show me this. I'm liking this clip, liking the clip. If there's another demo moment like this is a very easy way that we could just do this. So I could say that this one makes more sense to be 16:9, or maybe I want it 4:5. I want to make change. We're going to love this clip so we can get back to it easily. The aspect ratio is updated quickly. While all that's going on, I wanted to take a look at Tish's clip. Almost done, which goes to show, we're doing something I've been wanting to do, which is someone in the audience, aka the Artist Haven, has given us permission to take a look and see what happens. This goes to everyone watching, whether you're live in the replay. Should we do a stream where all we do is run content from your channels with, of course, in the stream by joining and saying we can use it, you're giving us permission, just to show off and demo. And then what we can do is I can, in theory, I got to talk to the Opus team, but I would love to do this, is give you a link access to the projects we generate, and you can take the look at them yourself. And it'd be really cool. I've actually done this for giving away my own personal secrets, but for my own coaching students, I've done this a few times, and it's been really helpful. So this is almost done. We can click in and see what's happening. Fetching, it's fetching the video, it's curating, it's at 99% analysis, so we're almost there. But as we clicked out, and I did that on purpose, it's still rendering all this in the background, even though, see, this is now the 4:5. Even though I left, it's still doing the stuff that I wanted it to do. So if I wanted to make this 16:9, great. As that loads, I don't need to be on this page. It's going to load in the background. I can click on home. We're just waiting for that last little bit of rendering. But as I said, as we click on filters here, another thing you can do is sort clips by chronological. So if you want to see, the different different ways we can sort. We can do by virality score, which is, you know, this chronological is based on the actual video itself. I like the virality score, and it shows me moments with strong opinions. We have 26 clips it was able to get with that idea. And Beanie, this is where I would implore you to give it a shot, give it a trial. I haven't used it for that use case, so I would love to hear what you think. And the Artist Haven, yes, you can absolutely upload from your computer. In fact, I showed that off a little bit earlier. So if we go to long form to shorts, I use the YouTube links because I didn't have your video file. But you can always click upload. Keep in mind there is a 30 gigabit max and a duration of 10 hours. That is there. And you can also choose from Google Drive. So yes, you could upload. I just didn't do that for the demo on the sense of, one, I don't have your video file, and two, then I'm worried about my upload during a demo, which is a different issue, and I'm already live streaming, so I'm trying. There's a lot of things going on, which is the reason I don't do that, but I absolutely could. And again, Beanie, I really implore you, give it a shot. I think it could be fun. Now, as you're asking, how good is it at turning horizontal art into vertical shorts? One thing you can keep in mind, which it kind of did in the 4x5, is it depends how many different things you have, but as I scroll down here, right, this is the 16:9 version, but in the 4x5, or even the 1:1, 1:1 being the Instagram ratio, we can see how it handles things for those different aspect ratios. Keep in mind that Opus is only 2 years old, and it is always looking to learn and get better. But one thing it can do for you is notice in this 1:1 preview that it is added a blurred background, keeping the main content in center and focus, but it just makes it a little easier for you to do that. And if you want to share a promotion bit, the fact that it does your captions, the fact that you can tell it, hey, let's edit this clip, that I want to, like, if this was your art video, you could upload more images, videos, audio. Again, this is a full editor, right? So let's say I want my logo on here. I'll add it on the timeline, right? So I can edit my logo. Oh, wrong thing. That was on me. Keyboard keys do work. I just hit Control Z. I say Z because sometimes when I say Z, people don't hear me. But now let's say I wanted like my logo there, and I want the text, you know, I want to keep it a little lower. Now this is a little more branded. You could have Beanie draws up here. You could have your own specific thing for your artwork, but this gives you an idea. And again, I love this because even when I'm in the editing flow, guess what? We can adjust this here, save changes, and it's going to switch, and it's going to take us out. It's going to do that. So everything we just did, we can still do there. So I'd really implore you, Beanie, to try it yourself, see how you like it, and let us know. I think it should be done. Man, it is waiting on that last little bit. You can also save projects, so you can see that this is actually from my YouTube channel. I use this one a lot. You can see your favorited clips in one spot too. So if you favorite any clips, this is very useful for you to go ahead and take a look at. There's also a lot more we haven't touched on so far. So in the asset library, if you have a unique name, like myself, Andrew Can with a K, you can make those changes. If you want your own personal font, it's now been raised to 24. This is where your images are. There is a scheduler and calendar where you can schedule a post. You can either use your own local video or that. There's analytics that they're still working on, which gives you an idea how your content through Opus is doing, which is actually really helpful to know. And I really like that as well. You can have multiple social accounts. Here are all the platforms they support. So again, what I'm showing is just one section. Boom, we are ready. I haven't shown this, but you do get an email when your Opus clips are done. Clips. I'm clipping my Opus clips. How much clips could an Opus clip if an Opus clip could clip clips? Whew. Did I say that enough? So yeah, you do get this little email. I'm gonna take that off so I don't share too much information. I'm gonna have to blur that in the YouTube tool later. But you get an idea. As long as you have the rights to the font, yes, but I don't know the legalities of every specific font, Tish. If you use a font and there's specific legal things that are in the font, any font you use, like in any video we create, is up to us as creators to make sure we have the rights to use a font. Because I don't know the font, I don't know the legalities. You can upload it and use it, but past that and past the rights of the font, I can't say. So, yes. In theory, yes. So here we are. Now, I will be very upfront. I have not seen this video. I do not know what this is about. So I'm going to fly a little blind. But looking here, it's done a pretty good job of focusing on your hands. There might be something like this one where it doesn't really know where to focus on. But the good thing about that is I think this cropping might be a little off. This is a great teaching experience. We hit the crop tool. Boom. Adjust, apply. There we are. Now, it does notice pausing, which I'm not sure for this video what makes the most sense. And as I'm looking here, I might actually crop it a little more over here. So yeah, that actually makes more sense, that crop to me. And what I might do is, since you move it, we can clip. And then we follow the crop to where you move your hand, apply. And then it's pretty good. It did require a little manual edit there, but still pretty good for everything we had considering. We can also turn the tracking on. Manual tracking, or turn on the tracking, right? So we can do manual subject tracking. And we pick the scene we want to track, right? And we want to track this. Again, you know what we want it to track more than me. I'm going to tell it to track this, and watch what happens. It's going to track. So that was all manual. There's also auto. And what it's going to do, as it shows on screen, it's going to apply this. Might take a little bit of time. But it's identifying what we want it to track. It's going a little faster. I'm going to take a moment to hydrate. And yeah, if you want, this is another thing you have options to. And it's found the subject. We can apply it now. Apply this tracking. Now watch this. I'm playing the video again. Look how good it is at tracking it. Compared to the manual before. In fact, that is pretty good. And it's tracking it through and through. That is pretty insane. Oh my stars, says Tish. Look, it's good. Like, there's so much in Opus Clip. And, like, especially for people who move their hands a lot, I am guilty of that. If you've ever watched an Andrew Can video or stream, you'll know this. But for these things, like, that is how good it is. In fact, I think let's go again and let's take a look. I want to filter by, let's go 30 to 60 seconds. So I want to focus on this one because I think you probably are going to move your hands a lot in it again. Now, there are times where it has found that this made sense to transition as you have it in your clip here to show a more full-scale view of what you're doing. But let's say I don't agree with that. Nah, I can click here, fill, and it probably just didn't know what subject to focus on. That's fine. You know, it's doing its best. But this is where we can crop again. We click on it and we crop. And we click here, apply. And because you have that transition, notice how it's pretty seamless because you've edited this VOD already. And instead of having it be a fit frame, I had it fill. Now, I don't really understand what you're saying in this one. I don't understand the context of the video. But I do notice there are a lot of pauses. According to the artist Haven, I had tried this before and it was awful, but holy Hannah, I'm sold. Look, Opus Clip is only 2 years old, and they take feedback incredibly seriously. So when people give us feedback like, hey, I wouldn't use this, they really hone in and work on it. If there's something you do not like about Opus Clip right now, let us know. They're going to work on it. In fact, we're going to make sure, let us know in the comments of this. Please, we'll forward it to the team. They always love the feedback. Micah Flemings, good morning. Flemings, I should say. Apologize if I'm a little sniffly, getting over a cold. Well, a pause is what it says, a pause. It tells you how long it's paused for. So this is 1.2 seconds of pause, 1.7, 1.5, 0.9, 0.6, 0.5. I would say I would remove this pause and get right into it. Instead of starting with a but as well, I would say we should always start on a action-based word. So I would say for this one, I have a couple different ways to make them. Really solid, something simple. I would maybe see what happens if I remove this pause, right? Now, the problem with removing that pause is that's where the transition is, right? So that's where you watch the clip. We have our transition. That's perfect. And this pause makes sense for the video. Again, you got to watch because you're bringing it in. But let's see what happens if I do remove it, right? I'm just curious. I actually don't think we lose anything. And I think it makes it just a little quicker. And maybe, you know, there are, instead of this, I could remove this part. And let's see what happens. So there are, that actually flowed really seamlessly. And that little mistake, which the put there, was very usable. So this pause here is more of an so let's see. That is smooth. I actually like this pause because it's, you know, it is moments of, it's human and it fits this. So notice I don't remove every pause. I really try to find the moments, but this is good. Like, I actually think this is pretty solid. I want to make sure to save this. And it's done. That editing, that rendering, done. That is so good. And another thing you could do with Opus is if you're wanting to show a face cam with some of your crafts, Opus is smart enough, like I showed earlier with my own video, to know where to put your face cam and what you're doing. So it could even possibly Tish or the Artist Haven elevate what you're doing. So yeah, I have to say this is, for what it's doing, it's pretty solid in how it's able to handle stuff. And because you're gonna know what you want it to focus on, like, it's pretty good. Now, I will say, as I'm looking here, this one is 10 seconds. Let's take a look. I would maybe, if I edit, you know, one thing we can do is edit the clip. Maybe we want to focus on this even more, and we can crop in even further to have this be more center focused. And now look at that. And maybe with the text, there are preset locations and you can always edit them where you want them. I think for where I want them, I think having this on top instead of where it was makes a little more sense. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I made all those changes in real time. Am I going to have issues using this video with an Opus clip since you used it? No. What? That's not how that works. Come on, Dish. Anyone, as long as you own the content, because someone has made clips in Opus, no. To share it to you, I'll just have to share you the final clip. So in that way, like, because we are not on an Opus clip team together, that would be the only issue. But if you want to use a video I've made, which that is fair, that's how you could do it. Look, Dish, every winner is once a beginner, but sometimes questions catch me off guard. They're a little funny. Because, of course, you're a little too used to limited of YouTube tools, one channel per account. Hey, I know that life. I've been there. No, you're all good, Dish. No worries. So, as we look through, I would say that what I'm seeing here is really strong content. And like if you notice, Tish, all your stuff is in the high range. And one thing I would tell you is go into list view. Look at why it gives a score. The greeting is warm and inviting. Perhaps a quicker transition to the project could further enhance engagement. If you've never used Opus Clip, here's something that you could do. You can upload your own videos, use it as practice. Use Opus Clip to see how your delivery is. Test how you're performing on camera before you ever upload a video. That way, with the free trial, what you can do is get a sense of how engaging are you, practice, get better, get those scores up, so that when you do put out your first video, you're not practicing blindly, you're having a tool that understands what all these different social media are looking for and is using that to better help you improve in your content creation. And hey, Opus Clip is not just for repurposing. You can use net new content, things you film only for shorts, upload it to Opus Clip, and it handles the rest. It is that powerful. So yeah, just wanted to make sure. So what I would say is if there's a clip you really like, what is it finding? Trend. Okay, not really on trend, makes sense, right? But maybe this hook, greeting is warm, inviting, perhaps quicker transition. You might see that a few times. It's saying quicker in the transitions. And even when I was editing some of these, I kind of noticed it does take a little bit of time to get going, which is why I removed the but. That's also where it took from. I understand you're being thoughtful and methodical in crafts. So keep in mind that just might be, you know, what these social media are looking for and what makes a good craft video, what makes a good X kind of video that you're making might not always be the same thing. Opus is keeping the focus of what these platforms want. It's not telling you not to do it. It's just giving you a readout, right? And sometimes people are like, well, Opus gave what I like a bad score. It only is scoring it on what these platforms it's reading for are looking for, right? So Opus is just trying to give you an idea and an expectation, right? Because even if you hit 100 out of 100, that doesn't mean the video is going to do well. It's just saying that it's hitting the things these platforms tend to look for. And because of that, it could do well. It can't guarantee anything. That's up to the content itself and how it responds. And yes, I'm very aware I didn't film this with shorts in mind. I will now. Yeah, and that's something you can keep in mind of, right? Like something that you can always do, and sometimes I do it. You can go full screen and you can just talk to camera and you can be like, hey, this is why I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And that itself is a short, right? Like this moment we're having could be a YouTube short. So, yeah, I will say that we have rendered 2 videos in the time of this. We showed off some really advanced Opus Clip features, and if you would like to learn more about Opus Clip, check out that video on screen now. I'm Andrew Can. Thank you so much, Opus Clip, for having me. Thank you, everyone who joined me live. Next time, maybe we will do a full dedicated stream where we take your content and make shorts content from. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Andrew Can. I hope you have a great